everyone. I'm getting live, and of course, 5 minutes before I go on, my computer crashes. So I am trying to fix it. Give me a second. Just wanted to make sure y'all knew I did not forget about you. Getting there, hopefully. Might have to do this without a computer. We shall see. Well, it's trying to boot up. Hopefully y'all pray that my computer works. Otherwise we'll do this blind. It looks like it's on a loop. For some reason, my computer's on a loop. So I'm looking at my phone. Hi, Lori. Hi, Sandy. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Slowly but surely. So I'm assuming y'all can see and hear me, even though I can't see or hear you at this moment. Okay, looks like, yes, my computer, it's booting up, We're getting there. Okay, well, we'll wait a couple minutes. I wanted to get on just a little bit early so I can get my computer set up, and it, of course, was having an issue. Hey, Pamela, how are you? No, you haven't missed anything. Okay, good. Thanks, Shannon. Good. At least you guys can see and hear me. Okay, my computer crashed literally 5 minutes before I got on. And it is slowly booting up right now. So hopefully it'll all work. So give it a minute. Okay, great. Thanks, Pamela. I'm reading all this off my phone. But yeah, we'll go with the flow. We'll figure it out as we go. Oh. So yeah, I'll just give another minute before we begin, let everybody get on, get their computers going. It's always technical issues, isn't it, y'all? Oh my goodness, I can't even, I love technology, but hate it. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Oh, Lord help us. But anyways, hope y'all are having a very blessed Sunday. I've been having a nice, relaxed day today so far. We're going to be, just so y'all can get your Bibles set up, we're going to be in Psalm 16 today. So, okay, it's 5 after. I'll just start prayer, and then we'll go from there, and people can join us as we go, or, they can watch it later. We'll save it and post it. I know Sundays is usually family day, so totally understand. But good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a blessed day. So let's begin in prayer. I just want to pray, dear Lord, thank you so much for this time together. Thank you that we are able to get together with technology, even though I have a love-hate relationship with it. There are such blessings that go with it, Lord. And I just pray that you cover all these ladies, whether they're listening now or listening later, with your comfort, with your love, with just cover us all with your protection and all your good gifts. And Lord, today we will be talking about all the blessings that we have from you. And I just want to pray and thank you, Lord, just with overwhelming gratitude and thankfulness that just everything that we have comes from you. And I don't think I focus on that enough. And so, Lord, help me to focus on that every day. All the gifts that I have come from you, and everything I have comes from you. And I just thank you so much for that, Lord. Just cover all these ladies with your goodness and your mercy and your grace and your love. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome. Hope you all are having your technology is working for you. My computer looks like, yes, it is booting up. It's working. It's good. Okay. We are good to go. So anyways, let me have a seat here. We will be working in Psalm 16. I will be focusing on verse, kind of like verse 4 and 5, but as you can see here on this page, it's kind of covered with this picture. I already did this picture on this page, so I will be journaling on this page today. So I'm gonna, once we read the verse, I'll flip my Bible around. But anyways, just wanted to touch base with you all. Hope you all are having, let me just get my computer. Looks like it finally booted up. Let me just get it so I can see the comments here really quick. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, so I hope you're all having a great Sunday. I have been really enjoying my Sundays, y'all. Usually, our church is still not meeting in person yet. We watch online. And so our Sundays now, it used to be where we would help out at church a lot. So it used to be where we would get to church about 7:30 in the morning, and we would be there until about 3:30 every day, because we would be serving all the services and helping out with a lot of stuff. So pretty much our Sunday was always, the whole day was at church, and then we'd come home exhausted and just kind of veg out for the rest of the day. But I've been enjoying these Sundays. Now I just wake up whenever. I don't even shower on Sundays. We get up, we have breakfast together. I don't know, just enjoying the peace and quiet. We'll sit and read in the same room or go outside and read. Yes, it is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day here in Texas as well. What is the temperature in the Quad Cities? Today, I think it's 70s, 80s, 80s here, 80s, 90s, maybe 80s, 90s. I didn't even go outside really much today. I've been inside reading. I do my Bible study. My husband and I will just sit and read. Sometimes we'll go outside. We'll take a walk. I don't know. Sundays have just been really, really peaceful. So I'm hoping and praying that all you are having your peaceful Sundays as well. But today we're going to be focusing on Psalm 16, confidence in the Lord. And just so you know, Psalm 16 is considered a messianic psalm, especially verses 8 through 11, which talk about that. In verse 10 it says, "For you will not abandon me to Sheol. You'll not allow your faithful one to see decay. You reveal the path of life to me. In your presence is abundant joy. At your right hand are eternal pleasures." So that part, really, they're thinking, commentators say that, this is referring to Jesus's resurrection here, how his body will not see decay. So this is considered a messianic psalm. And I'm not going to go into all that because Diane will teach on all that. But this psalm kind of gives you the secret to joy, really. And joy is far deeper than happiness. I know we've talked about this before in the group. Happiness is derived and based on your experiences a lot. You're happy when things are going good and you're mad when things aren't. But joy, it's more lasting because it's not based on circumstances. It's based on God's presence within us and recalling or actually like kind of thinking about the future and what he's got in store for us. So it's thinking about all the blessings he's given you, being in his presence, as well as focusing on the future that God has for us, and knowing that nothing here can steal our joy or our happiness, really, if we're focused on God. I mean, because what's the worst that can happen? Okay, we can die, but yay, because then we get to be in the presence of the Lord. So really, that's not a loss in any shape of of anything. So, that way we can keep our joy. And one thing I've really noticed about, really true, deep, Christians across the board should be displaying joy. And you can really tell how close a person is with the Lord by the joy that just like exudes out of them. So today we are going to be journaling about God being our cup of blessing. So in verse 5, it says, "Lord, you are my portion and my cup of blessing. You hold my future. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Indeed," I can't even read that. "Indeed, it's a beautiful inheritance. Life is a beautiful inheritance." So that's kind of the verses that I'm going to be focusing on. But as well as verse 2 over here, it says, "I said to the Lord, you are my Lord. I have nothing good besides you." And so I just kind of want to focus on God's goodness today. We have nothing good outside of Jesus. And so that's where we derive our joy from. So let me flip this over. And I did prep my page just briefly, or just, just lightly. I just put a little layer of gesso on my page, only for the fact that I will be stamping with inks. And anytime I stamp with inks, I always put gesso on just to protect the opposite page, because I never know what I'm going to be doing on the back page. So it's just a habit with me. You don't have to do it, but I do it. Okay, so Mary, you said 79, partly cloudy in Virginia. And low 70s, Mare. Oh, wow. Okay, so today here, I think it's in the 80s. I've been outside earlier this morning. It was cooler, but now in the afternoon, I'm not sure. I'm in Texas. It's sunny out, gorgeous day. Just a nice Sunday to hang out in the Lord's Word and, do my Bible study and craft. So, okay, y'all, ready? So I printed out what y'all needed. I'm making sure I am in screen here. Okay. So remember, y'all, Shannon, you went parasailing with a dear friend several years ago. We noticed one single knot. You started to panic. She said, Shannon, the worst thing that could happen is we fall into the ocean and then we will meet Jesus. Yep, exactly. Exactly, Shannon. Like, people, I think, with this whole COVID thing, think about it. Everyone was just so fearful of catching it and perhaps dying. But then I'm like, you know what? First of all, if it's your time, if God wants you at that time and he wants you to go by COVID, then you're going to go, whether not saying don't be, safe or whatever, but I live life, y'all. Enjoy life. Don't be afraid of things, because I just live life with the fact that the worst that can happen is I die, and then what? Then I'm with Jesus. Oh, to me, that's like the best thing that can happen. So really, death to me holds no fear. So I pray that over all of you, that if any of you are fearful over anything, that you don't have that fear, because God's got us in his hand. And we can, when it's our time no matter what. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it. And so just live life, enjoy life, have that joy. And, the worst that can happen is you can die, and then, hey, you're with Jesus. So I don't personally think that's the worst that can happen. I think that's the best. So anyways, I love that story, Shannon. Yep, don't panic. Okay, y'all. So we have our picture, and again, if you printed this out, great. If not, you can go on Google and find any kind of stacked cups. If you're a coffee drinker, get coffee cups. If you're a tea drinker, get tea cups. I am not a coffee or a tea drinker. I just really like these cups because of the colors. So I put these out on the Journey Through the Bible Facebook site. You can download them, print them out. I just printed it to size so it would fit in my margin with the little butterfly there. So the first thing we're going to do is, let's see, what is the first thing we're going to do? We are going to do our little stencil here. So this is where I'm going to put approximately my pieces. So I want to have like these little splatter parts, and since it's tea, I have the Tim Holtz Distress Ink tea dye. And so I'm going to use it. You don't have to use this. You can use whatever you have. Everything is I'm all about using what you have. Let me see. Yeah, Shannon said there's absolutely something good about the slower pace. Yes, it is a blessing. I found it to be a blessing. I am getting a little frustrated with not being able to do like festivals and things like that. I want to go out and do things like that. But I have really enjoyed the slower pace of life, for sure. Okay, so I am using a makeup brush here. It's one of these. These I find work better with stencils, but use whatever you have. You can use a paper towel. You can use a baby wipe, whatever you have. Again, I'm going to use these stencils. I'm going to put just these little splatter marks here. Actually, I'll put them down here. And I always go in light first. You can always get darker. It's easier to, darken things up versus lighten them up. So. And since this is tea, I figured I'd use the tea dye ink. Let's see what that looks like. And there you go. And then I'm going to do some of these little splatters, like it kind of got all over my paper. Like I spilled everywhere, which I normally do in real life anyway. So might as well, you know, make it look more realistic and like I actually did it. But if you don't have a stencil, you can actually just get watercolor and like do your own little splats and splatters. Oh, there goes my computer. You can do that. Let's see, let's put a couple little drips over here. You know, you can draw in your own little splatters. So you don't have to have stencils. Okay, I like that. And then, so that's all you need for that. And then if you don't have any stencils, you can also use something round like this. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to press this into my ink pad. I'm gonna stand up for this. And since this is gonna be where my teacups are gonna be, I want to maybe put an impression like kind of going off the page like that. I don't know if you can see. And maybe just kind of down there. So can you see that? Here, let me. So if you have any kind of round, you know, you could actually make your own little cup. I might do one over here too. I'm not sure if it'll work with the spiral here, but we'll see what we can do here. Maybe just kind of coming off the page just a little bit. Oh yeah, just like that. So can you see that? Right here. And down here. So just made a little bit of splatter. So it looks like we spilled some tea and we have some cups sitting down. You can do that with coffee cups, with whatever you have. So any kind of round circle that you can make your own little splatter marks and circles and such. Okay. And then the next thing you're going to do is glue down your teacups and your butterfly if you printed out the butterfly. So I'm just using my 3-in-1 glue here. You could use a glue stick, pretty much, again, anything you have, whatever you use in your Bible. I printed these out on cardstock, so it's just a little bit thicker paper than regular, like, you know, computer copy paper. And you're just going to put it kind of like towards the bottom, but I wanted my coffee circles to stick out a little bit. And I'm not sure if I am missing, my computer, like I told you all, has been acting up, so I'm hoping I'm not missing any of your comments. If you have any questions, just write it in the comments. If not, if I don't see them, if I don't answer them, I'll check back after this is over, because like I said, I've been having some technical difficulties. So if for some reason I'm not seeing your comments, it looks like I'm seeing some of them right now, but we'll see how it goes. If I don't see your comments, I will definitely go back in and answer them after, you know, after the live. And hopefully I'll be able to answer everything that y'all are asking me. Okay, so look at that. We're already, like, the page is already getting there. Real easy. Super, super easy. Okay, so now I'm going to stretch y'all out of your comfort zone a little bit. I really wanted to, I don't know, just kind of bring a few other techniques to the page, maybe for people who have never used other things in their Bible other than like maybe colored pencil or just cutting and gluing. I wanted to add a little bit more. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you how you can emboss something. So let me move this real quick. Put it on the floor. Y'all, my desk is just jam-packed full of stuff. I'm working on a journal right now, and I just have stuff everywhere. It took me all morning to kind of clear off enough space for this morning. Okay, so this is called a texture boutique. Now, you don't need to have one of these. I just wanted to show this to you, so maybe those of you who are interested in something like this. This is an embossing machine by Sissix. There's a whole bunch of different kinds out there. I did not have an embossing machine for years. I literally picked this up a couple weeks ago on Facebook Marketplace for a super, super cheap price, so I couldn't pass it up. I had to get it. And what this does is these are called embossing folders, something kind of like this. So it's a plastic folder that folds up like this, and it's got raised different decorations in the folder. And when you put paper in here, and for instance like this, I put this piece of paper in the folder, I'll show you how to do it, and you run it through the machine, it embosses your paper. And embossing means it gives you like a raised pattern in your paper. These are hearts. Since we're going to be doing hearts, I have hearts. You can get all different kinds of these embossing folders. Now, if you don't have a machine, which I told y'all I didn't have until about 2 weeks ago, you can do the same thing with this and paper. So you would grab your 3 colored papers. So here's my 3 colored papers. I picked these colors because they matched the colors of the teacups. So if you don't have a machine like this, you would put your paper in here. You would squirt it with a little bit of water. I've shown a video on this on my YouTube channel. You would squirt it with just a misting of water. You would put it in between the folder like this. And if you have a rolling pin or anything kind of heavy, you would roll over this and you would get the same effect. It's just a little bit more muscle work and hand work. But you would just, use your rolling pin and roll it, and you would get the same effect. Okay, now if you don't even want to go that far, or you don't have a embossing folder like this, you can take a stencil, put your paper over the stencil like this, and get a stylus or any kind of pointy tool. This is a stylus. This is it's like a wooden tool with a metal. It's got like a little round ball at the end, if you all can see that. Okay, but you don't have to have a stylus even. You can have just anything like, let's see. If you have like just a wooden dowel with like a pointy thing on it, or even a pencil, pretty much anything that you have that has a pointy thing on it, you can use that as well. And then what you would do with the stencil, you would put your paper on the stencil, and then you would rub over it. Kind of like, remember when you were young and used to go, we used to go to graveyards and do like crayon rubbings. And so you can see, and then you can see where like the deeper indentions are. And then you would go in with your stylus or your pointy tool or whatever you have, and press a little bit harder in those grooves. And I'm going to show you. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do like a little section here. So if you see, when you flip it over, you get the same effect. So you don't have to have one of these machines. It just makes it easy. You can, if you have a folder, you can do it with a rolling pin or even a rock or anything heavy that you can press over your paper. You don't have that, but you have stencils. You can, use a pokey tool and put your paper on the stencils and rub over them and do rubbings and get the same effect. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. So I'm going to move these to the side. So I'm going to show you how this works. So if you ever do want one, let me make sure I'm in the camera here. Okay, so you're going to put your paper in between the folder, and then your folder goes in between these 2 little like plastic pads like that. And then you just, I'm going to do it this way. Well, I need to do it where I can roll the little machine. Okay, so you put your thing, your 2 plastic things, whatever these are called, into your machine, and then you just roll. Super easy. You don't even have to use any like elbow grease or anything. You just roll it and you can see it's coming out the back. I'm trying to get it in screen here. So it's coming out the back, and then you take, the 2 plastic trays off, and you flip this open, and there you have it. So that's called an embossing machine. It will emboss your paper. But like I said, you can get the same effect by using stencils, a pokey tool. You can, if you don't have the machine, which I used to do for years, is I had a few of these, and these you can get pretty cheaply. They're called embossing folders, and you can just use a rolling pin with that. I spray my paper with just a little bit of water because it helps it grip these better, and you don't have to use as much elbow grease when you're rolling with a rolling pin, but you don't need to spray with if you have the machine. So we're going to emboss all 3 of our sheets. So I already did the pink, I already did like this lime green, and now I'm going to do this blue, and I just need a piece about that big, so I'm going to put this to the side. Let me see. So let's see, Renee, you still have brass stencils from when you did embossing by hand. Yep. Yeah, I do a lot of it still by hand because I love a lot of my stencils, and I don't have the embossing folders that I want. Like I don't have the type that I'm looking for, so I use a lot of my stencils to emboss my paper as well. So I still do a lot by hand, but I did get this machine for super cheap, and I couldn't pass it up, and now I'm just having fun using it. So wanted to show y'all. Okay, so again, rolling it through, just roll it through. Sorry, y'all, I'm shaking the table, so it's shaking the camera. But this is just another little fun thing that you can maybe do to your paper to give it some dimension. And there you have it, just like that. So like I said, if you don't have one of these machines, no problem. There are so many other ways you can get the same look. Okay, so I'm gonna put that to the side. Okay, now we're gonna grab our 3 pieces of paper, and if you are good at drawing hearts, then draw away. Draw with your hand, draw with your, freehand it. I need a stencil because every time I draw hearts, they come out lopsided. So I'm gonna use this stencil. Now, if you didn't want to do any of this embossing, you don't have to. You can use, you can just use stamps. So like, let's say you had the plain paper here and you had stamps, maybe with the words love or Jesus or joy or whatever stamps you have, you can stamp your paper and then cut it out with a heart. If you didn't want to do stamps, you don't even have to do plain paper. If you've got scrapbook paper anywhere, like patterned scrapbook paper. Let's see, this is just something I had nearby. So here's some patterned scrapbook paper, for instance. You can cut hearts out of this. You don't have to emboss your paper. I'm just trying to show you, some different other techniques. So you can stamp and then cut out your heart. You can use, there went my computer. You can use textured paper. You can use whatever you have. Whatever you have. Okay. Yeah. So Debbie, you have an old spellbinder. So Debbie's got a spellbinder for anyone who wants one. I'm not very familiar with it, but I know it's an embossing machine, right? So yeah. I'm not familiar with all the machines because I still do everything pretty much by hand. Okay, so just pick a spot on your, on your paper, and then you're gonna draw your little hearts, and then we're gonna cut them out. So super easy. Just draw and cut. So you're going to do 3 little hearts. Make sure I'm on paper here. And now we're just going to cut. So I have my big old scissors here. I've got a few different types of scissors. This is just one that I use a lot. I have, let's see, these cutter bees. If any of you if you're not familiar with these, I love these. They're super sharp, super tiny. These are great for really small fussy cutting. I also have these, which are great. These are Vingos, I think. I got these off Amazon. These are really good for cutting fabric and lace and things like that. It like just goes through fabric like butter. I love these. So those I got on Amazon. So I have a few different types of scissors. These are like my catch-all scissors. I use these for pretty much everything. they have glue all over them and everything. So they're not my best scissors. They're the ones I just use for everything. And now it's all of a sudden it's getting a little bit darker in here. Looks like we might have some clouds coming in. So it's not helping my eyesight, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna cut out our hearts. I'm trying to keep them as even as possible. It doesn't matter, it's just me. I'm a perfectionist that way. You can even, if you like the little wonky type hearts, you know, the more whimsical type hearts, I really like those as well. I just didn't have a stencil for that. And I knew if I tried to draw them, they wouldn't turn out right. So, yeah, I'm just using just regular old symmetrical hearts. But if you like the more wonky style hearts, I really like those. You can cut those style hearts out, whatever you want. All of this is about just showing you different techniques and different things that you can maybe try, and then you take it and make it your own. So you don't have, you know, these are not for you to like, you know, copy the page exactly unless you want to, but it's also just to give you ideas and, you know, take it and make it your own. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is use our eyelets and our brads. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what an eyelet is, this is an eyelet. They're little round, I don't know, little round things that you can punch through paper and ribbon and such and make holes with, and it protects like the hole. Okay, this is considered a brad. A brad is, you know, one that punches through the paper, and then it's got these little two, you know, back pieces that open up in the back. So, welcome, Bev. Okay, so this is the eyelet. Oh, I'm glad, Shannon. I'm trying to show y'all a whole bunch of different things that you can use and different techniques. So maybe, you know, it'll help you, you know, maybe find something new that you love to do. So, okay, so that's a brad and this is an eyelet. Okay, so we're going to put the eyelets in these hearts. Now, again, if you don't have eyelets, no big deal. Use a hole punch. If you don't have a hole punch, again, no big deal. Use a little X-Acto knife and make a hole in your heart. This is an X-Acto knife, real sharp blade. See, okay. You lost sound, Pamela. Okay, well, is everybody else getting sound? Hopefully you're all getting sound. Let me know if you're not, and I'll check my my link, but I don't think it's on my end, but we'll see. So thumbs up if you're all getting sound. Okay, if you don't have a blade, use a pencil, poke a hole through, any kind of pokey tool, a needle, anything. Or you don't even have to poke a hole, y'all. Do you have a stapler? Staple. We can staple, let's see, we're going to be using, you know, thread or ribbon. You can staple it. You can tape it, you know, so don't let that stop you. Okay, good. Everyone can still hear me? Great. Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, if you don't want to punch a hole, don't worry about it. Again, I'm just trying to show you a few different things you can do. You can tape it, you can staple it, you can washi tape it, you can tie it, whatever you want. Okay, so y'all, this is another machine, another tool called a crocodile. What it does, it punches holes. Here's a hole punch right here. It's a big hole punch right there. And on the other side, you have a smaller hole punch. And then here, it sets eyelets. This is the part that sets these into these things. Now, again, you don't have to have this tool. Let me pull something out. For the longest time, I was using this. It's a hole punch that you hammer. You put this and you hammer this to your paper, and it punches this size hole through your paper. It comes with all different kind of little hole punches that you can adjust onto this little machine here. And then to set your eyelet, you'd flip it over, and this part sets the back of the eyelet. So you'd flip this over and you'd put this on the back of the eyelet and hammer it down and set the eyelet. So for the longest time, I did the old-fashioned way, the punching, and it was really, really loud. And I still use this if I can't reach it with this, because they have a large crop-a-dial that'll go like 12 inches into your paper. I do not have one of those, but they make tools for everything, y'all. But again, that's just if you want to learn how to set these. Now, for the longest time, I had this, and it sat on my shelf because I was so intimidated and I had no idea how to use this thing. It looked like this huge monster to me. So all I did was go on YouTube, and there was, I'm checking out, okay. Oh, Shannon, you had no idea what an eyelet was. Well, now you know. Now you know. That is an eyelet. And they come in all different sizes. This is a tiny one. They come in bigger ones. They also are called grommets if you get the real big ones. Bigger circle ones, like about that big. They're called grommets or eyelets. But this will help set those eyelets. But yeah, I went on YouTube, saw a video on how to do it, and now I use this thing all the time. So now it does not intimidate me. But I just want to show y'all how you can use this. So I'm going to use the little hole punch here, and I'm going to take my piece of paper, and I'm just going to kind of go maybe like I don't want to be too close to the edge, but I don't want to be too far down either, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to punch a hole. See, there's my hole right there. So I'm going to do that for all three. It's just a hole punch. Ooh, that was kind of close to the edge. You don't want to get too close to the edge because it might rip through the paper. Okay, so you see my holes? There's my holes. Okay, so now I'm going to take my eyelet, and you push it in like that. So there's the top of your eyelet right here, and then when you flip it over, that's what the back looks like. So it looks like a little, I don't know, tube coming out the back, okay? So how this works is you set it for this, if you're doing the small eyelets, you want to set it to the small. So you got this little small knob here. There's bigger knobs. This thing flips over, and it's got a bigger knob as well for the bigger eyelets. But we're using the small one, so I'm going to use the small. So that small little this little tube is going to go through the top of this eyelet, and then you just squeeze it like that, and boom, my eyelet is set. Super easy. And look, that's how it sets the eyelet, if you can see that. So it's not sticking up anymore, it's flat. Okay? There we go. So again, do the same thing. There's my eyelet. I stick the tube apart, the little pokey thing that's coming out through the top, and squeeze it. And that's it. And your eyelet is set. Super, super easy. This makes setting eyelets so much easier than the hammer, and and you don't have the loud noise. Oh, my eyelet popped out. So you don't have the loud noise or anything, but I still use that when I need to get deeper into the page when this won't reach. And there you go. It's as easy as that. And so this makes it so much easier. So this is called a crop-a-dial. I am not affiliated with any of these things. Just showing you to, expand your awareness. But yeah, this is fun. I do use this a lot. If you use eyelets, I would suggest getting one of those. It just makes it easier. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do, grab your book again, your page. Okay, and then you're going to kind of measure. So now you want to grab your ribbon or your string. I just got like a thin, as you can see here, it's a thin, satin type of ribbon. You can use string, you could use yarn, you could use thread, you can use, again, whatever you have. Hey, Kay, hi everybody. You could use whatever you have. But what we're going to do is we're going to put these through. Now this is the hard part for me. You're going to try to put them through your hearts, and we're going to tie them. So we want them hanging down, but not, we want them kind of hanging just like they're filling our cup, kind of. So you want to kind of have them hanging from the top of your page to, you know, kind of hitting your cups or filling your cups, because God is always filling our cups. So that's kind of where that image is coming from. So you want to make a little bit longer because you're going to tie these at the top. So let me see. I am horrible at tying, y'all. So me and my big old fingers always have issues. So let's see. And judge it. And if your ribbon is, you know, if you're a total perfectionist, that might bother you, but mine is twisted. As you can see here, I twisted it. To me, it doesn't really matter, but you know, that might bother some of you. So you might want to make sure your ribbon is perfectly straight if that's an issue. But okay, so I can move this down a little. No, maybe not. That's as tight. That's as far as it's going because I tied it too tight. Okay, so that's where that's going to hang. So then I'm going to take my scissors and cut that. I like, before cutting, I like tying it first just because it's always better to have more ribbon than less, because if you have less, it's harder. Then you have to recut and all that. So I just like doing it, you know, this way. So with whatever string you have or whatever. And now you can decide if you want them to be a little uneven or if you want them all to be in the same spot. I think I'm going to do mine a little uneven. At the beginning, I was thinking I was going to do them all in the same length. But now I'm looking at it and I think I want it uneven. But we'll see. We'll see what happens once I tie these, because it might not turn out uneven. It might be exactly the same length. Oh, no. Okay. Came uneven. Perfect. So you tie it and then cut off a little piece and then do the same with your third heart. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no. You know what? I did this one. As you can see, this one I put the front through where the hearts are like indented. And these two, I did the same. That's one thing I did not look at when I was doing this. The hearts were raised on this side, and the back was where the hearts were indented. So can you see the difference? I mean, it's really no big deal. But again, my perfectionist mind is like, no. Actually, I might just put it through the front here and just use that as the front. Because that's going to drive me nuts. Okay. So let me see here. Maybe this one, maybe we'll want a little bit shorter. And I'm doing this all standing up because I'm trying to watch through my phone, which is above me. And I'm just to make sure, because I'm having some issues with my computer still. So before I tighten that, I want to make sure it's not too short. Okay, and then tighten your knot. And there you go. So there are your 3 hearts. Okay, and then you don't need the rest of that. You're done with that. Okay. Y'all good? You're all with me? Okay. So then, okay, you're going to get your brad and figure out. Now, if you don't have a brad, again, don't panic. You can tape these up here with washi tape. You can get a stapler and staple. You can, what else can you do? There's a lot. I mean, you can get a piece of paper and like do like a little, you can, if you have like another heart, you can like glue this to another heart and glue it to the page, whatever you want. I'm just going to use the brad, but I haven't tried this. So let's see. It might not even work. I might have to tape it, but we'll see. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm putting all my hearts, I'm just layering them up on the brad, just, you know, hanging them on the brad like that. Can y'all see that? I just hung them on the brad just to kind of see where I would stick this. Okay, and with a brad, if your paper's thin, you can literally just push your brad through the paper and it'll go to the other side. See? Just punch it through to the other side. And then don't worry about this. You're like, oh no, it's going to the other side of the page. When you do this side, you can just put a piece of washi tape over this. You can, you know, put a sticker over it. You can hide the brad. And if you use white, it's really not going to matter anyways. And then well, the other side's silver, I guess. So You'd see it, but can you all see that? I'm trying to do it on camera. So you just open this up and that'll set your brad into your paper. And as I'm seeing this, like I'm trying, they're coming off. So you got to set your brad hard enough. So let me see, let me restart. I told you I didn't do this to see. You just got to like hook them in, hook them around your brad. And it should, if your brad is down enough, it should hold them. If you get them hooked around the brad well enough. Let's put this guy in the middle. There we go. Okay. Do you see that? And if this bothers you, you can cut off the little ends or whatever, but you just kind of hook it to the brad. So, you know, you could put the brad on first and then hook it to the brad, and then you want to get them kind of like hooked underneath the brad. Get your string or your ribbon hooked underneath the brad and then really tighten your brad so it holds it there to the paper. You could even put a dollop of glue there if that bothers you, but they shouldn't come off once you get it hooked pretty well. Okay? You're still trying to get your cups cut out, Shannon. Oh, that's fine. There's no rush. No rush. That's why I do these, so then we'll have it saved and you can always go back to it. Okay, so there we go. So remember, we're focusing on the verse that says, the Lord's cup is my portion. Am I saying that right? Let me look at the verse. Oh, y'all. Lord, you are my portion and my cup of blessing. I knew I was saying that wrong. Okay, so you are my portion and my cup of blessing. So all the blessings we have come from him. So the last thing I did, I on the computer, I printed out, you are my cup of blessing. And I did it in 2 different fonts, and I kind of spaced the words out because we're going to like cut them out. So I wasn't sure if this would fit. So I took my, you know, when I printed them out, the different sizes. So see, that blessing just barely would fit on that heart, but this one fits better. So I'm probably going to use this smaller font size, and this is probably, depending on what kind of size heart you're using, you kind of just want to match up your font size so they fit on the heart, if that makes sense. Okay, so another thing I have, if I can grab it, and there goes my computer. There we go. Okay, this is called a tearing ruler. This is plastic. They come in metal as well. If you can see this edge to it, you would put paper next to it and tear paper. So for instance, here's my paper. You tear it like that, and then you get this like torn edge to your paper. You can also tear paper like this, y'all. So don't freak out if you don't have a tearing ruler. You can tear paper like that, but it's just another little, I was gifted this, so I had this fun little tearing ruler. So this side will tear out paper with these big old jagged edges, if you can see that. This side is little jagged edges. They have wavy ones and like little wavy ones. They have, I think this comes in a set of 3. They have the zigzag ones and the big zigzags. But my favorite one, the one I use all the time, is this little tearing one. So that just helps you, let me put these back. That just helps you focus your tearing, I guess. So I'm going to tear these words out because I don't want like straight edges. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tear straight across the bottom, and then, so let me move this, and then I'm going to tear straight across the top. You got to hold your ruler down pretty tight so the paper doesn't shift while you're tearing, but so you get this like kind of little jagged feel to your paper. That's it. You can tear it with your fingers, it doesn't matter. I'm just using this because I have it. Okay, so then I'm going to tear the little side off, and I'm going to tear each word. And actually, I'm probably going to have to tear closer to the words because I don't think we'll have enough room to put them on our hearts if I have this much paper. But, you know, we'll just tear them first and we'll see. We'll go from there. So the title says, "You are my cup of blessing." And hopefully this will be a reminder to you all that everything good we have, just everything we have, is from the Lord. And I just want to focus on that a lot more, because especially this year, you know, it's like, why is this happening and why is that happening? And I just want to focus on the blessings more. So I'm going to try to get closer to the word, because we are going to put these on our hearts. Okay, another thing, I'm going to grab this. If y'all have these kind of scissors, you have the decal scissors. This is another one that does like tearing effects. So you can use that too. Shannon, I'm glad you think it's adorable. So you can cut these as well, which actually I might do. Might be easier than all the tearing, but you can tear, cut, whatever. But if you can see, it gives you the tearing look. It's a little bit more precise, I guess, versus the tear look. So either way, it doesn't matter. So I'm just trying to cut a little bit closer to each word. And when you get this close to a word, it's probably easier to cut them like this versus tear with the tearing ruler, because it's harder with like a little piece of paper. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want them to fit on these hearts, and they probably won't fit with all of this paper, these words. Okay, so, but yeah, if you have any of these kind of cutting scissors, those come in all different styles as well. So, okay, so now you're gonna grab your hearts and figure out, make sure I'm in camera, figure out where you want your words. So the phrase is, "You are my cup of blessing." So I'm just kind of Willy Wonkus or wonky, you know, putting my words. And then again, if you need to cut off some more of the paper, you can do that. My cup of blessing. Hopefully this one will fit. Yep. You can always cut closer, cut around the corners. Okay, so that's about how I'm going to do it. But before I do that, to make them stand out, I'm gonna grab my distress ink again. Let me move all this. Now this is the tool that I used for when I use stencils, because I love the way this gets into the stencils. This is the tool I use when I am doing edges of things, because this works really well on edges. Again, doesn't matter. You can even take this and just do this on edges like this. So you don't have to have the tools. And again, for the longest time, I didn't have any tools, but now I do, and so I'm gonna use what I have. So I'm gonna just take, if you can see here, I'm taking the ink and just rubbing it along the sides. And what this does, it kind of makes your words pop out, I guess. Makes your paper pop out more. From the darker your ink, the more it'll pop out. You could do black ink if you want. Since I use the tea dye ink for the page, I'm just using tea dye on the words. You know, like I spilled tea all over my words, I guess. You could do splatters on your words. You can do whatever you want. So just ink it up. Inky, inky, inky. I feel like that's all I do, because I do junk journaling as well, and we ink everything up in junk journaling. So all I'm doing is inking stuff up all the time. Kind of gives it that vintage feel. So if you like that vintage look, I know a lot of you were commenting on that last page that was just done with all the vintage ladies. If you like that look, this is a good way to get it on all your pages. You could even ink up the edges of your hearts if you want. If you want those to stand out, you could ink them up at the edges. You could have inked the edges of your teacups, whatever. But yeah, inking up the edges kind of makes them pop. If you can see the difference here now, the words are popping out a little bit more. Okay, then all you're going to do is take your glue and you're going to glue them on. Let my glue get to the bottom. You can use glue sticks, whatever. I am using a little bit stronger glue because, and I just noticed my heart is upside down, because the hearts are raised on this. So since they're raised, I'm using just a stronger glue stick. You might have to put like extra glue stick or just like really press down on it to make sure that it stays because of the raised embossed parts of your hearts. And then make sure you put it in the right order. I've been known to do that. Mess up the words. I've been known to misspell words, put them in the wrong order. Susan, what size font did I use? You know what? I think this was 24. I'm not sure. Again, it's gonna depend on how big of a heart stencil you have. So really, if I tell you to use like a 30 font or a 24 font or a 16 font, it might not fit on your hearts. So you just gotta kind of play with it. That's why I printed out like 2 because I wasn't sure. This was probably like maybe a 20. Maybe this was 24 and this was 20 or something like that. Yeah, I don't even remember. And again, it's gonna depend on what font style you use, because all the styles are different than the font sizes as well. Like, for instance, if I'm using like a Times Roman at 18, that might be bigger than, I don't know, like a Calypso or whatever at 18, if that makes sense. So depending on whatever style of lettering you're using plus the size. So just maybe print out maybe 3 or 4 different sizes. So when you get it out, you can see which fits on your hearts. Cause again, it's gonna depend on what kind of, the size of your hearts as well. If you have really big hearts, you can do bigger words. If you have really small hearts, you're gonna want smaller words. So yeah, it's trial and error. I just lucked out by printing out just 2 and one of them fit. Or I'm going to make one fit. So, like this one just barely fits on an angle, but hey, we're going to make it fit. So, and make sure they're all stuck on there. And there we go, y'all. And then you might want to date your page or whatever. So here's the page. Let's see, can you all see the whole thing? Let me see if I can move my camera back a little bit. So can you see the whole page? There's the whole page. And then here's it close up. There are the words. You can see they kind of pop out a little with the inking. There's your little teacups or coffee cups or whatever you have. There's a little butterfly because it just, they had a butterfly here, so I use that butterfly there. And then there's your little tea droplets all over your page. And there you go. Okay, so one other thing that I forgot to mention that I didn't mention in my last video or probably any of my videos, if you all are interested, again, I'm not affiliated with them, but there is a site. Let me grab a pen real quick. Or a pencil, whatever I can find. It's called pixelscrapper.com. pixelscrapper.com. To set up a login, it's free. So you just set up, an account. To set up your account, it's free, I guess. They have memberships. And again, I am not affiliated with this at all. But I just want to let you guys know because I get a lot of my images from pixelscrapper.com. So to set up your account, it's free. And then just by having your account, you get 5 free downloads a day. Per day. If your membership, and their memberships change every couple times throughout the year they'll have specials, but I think the membership's like, I don't know, anywhere between $10 to $15 a month. Sometimes I'll have a special for $5 a month. Sorry, my handwriting's atrocious, but I'm just writing fast. So anyways, that's a membership that gives you can download as many downloads as you want a day. All I do are the 5 free downloads per day, but they have background paper. They have background stickers. They have, let me show you, if I can show you, they have, pictures. Okay, for instance, can y'all see this background sticker? So they have stickers, like backgrounds like this that you can print on sticker paper for free. 5 free downloads a day. They have clusters and ephemera pieces and word phrases and such. I'm going to try to show you here, this one. So this one, like I got all these for free. These pictures, the roses, these little like cluster pieces. This cluster piece down here. So they have like a lot of different like stickers and stuff. Well, things that you can print on sticker paper. So it's called pixelscrapper.com. But they literally have everything. They have word phrases and ephemera pieces and tags and brads and flowers and birds and butterflies and backgrounds and paper. So all of that, you can go and get 5 free downloads per day. If you want a membership, it's unlimited downloads, and they have thousands of items on their website. So I just wanted to mention that to y'all because I do use them a lot. Let me get back to our page. Do use them a lot and get a lot of pictures down. A lot of people will say, where do you get your pictures from? And that is one place. So, okay, any other questions? So here's our page, y'all, right here. Hope y'all had fun and maybe learned something new today. But yeah, I'll go through. If we have any other questions, just post them and I'll answer those as we go. If not, you can always go to my YouTube channel as well. It's called Lovely Lavender Wishes, and I will be posting all of our Let's Bible Journal Together posts on there as well. So if you want to check one of those out, you can go do that as well whenever on your free time. So thank you all for joining me. Let me see. You're still cutting. Okay, I really want to see what y'all come up with. So please, please, please post your pictures. I love seeing, everyone's got their own style, and I love seeing that. So that's what it's all about, spending time in the Word and, just enjoy the process. If it's too much, if it's, too complicated, then don't do it. Do something that you enjoy doing. But I'm just trying to put a bunch of stuff out there so you guys can, maybe try something new. Maybe you'll find something that you enjoy. So thank y'all so much. I hope y'all have a very blessed day. Enjoy that Sunday. Enjoy the relaxation and enjoy your weather especially. So thank y'all. Have a great afternoon. Bye, y'all. See you later.